Live tonight from the Watkins Glen International Road Course. Back live on LSRTV for the first time in 2015. The Cora Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Muddy Series Season 5 rolls on with round 10 and our final race in this segment of the IndyCars in the regular schedule. The field is already on the grid. Want to welcome you to the LSRTV broadcast booth. Have a big cast of characters up here tonight. Myself, Evan Pasocco, joined alongside, as always, Carl Jones, PDJ Zeller, and also Travis Brown, our driver analyst for the evening. So 4 of us up here. Laura Lawson is always pushing the buttons and getting us on the air. But guys, we are already essentially doubled up, single file at the moment. They're going to get too wide by the time they cycle at a quarter to number 7. We have a lot of time to talk about this racetrack throughout this 66-lap affair. And pole sitter is going to be Colton Berkey. Kevin McCarthy going to be starting on the outside of the front row in second position. Those two are some of the favorites entering tonight's race as we get set to go green. Tonight's race is the Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160 in honor of the father of Kevin McCarthy, who passed away this holiday season. So our prayers are with the Kevin McCarthy family, so I want to keep them in our thoughts throughout this difficult time for them. But want to pay homage to his father and look for a good race tonight from Watkins Glen. Field getting doubled up. Pace car just gets set to dive away to the safety of pit road, and well, 66 more laps of some road racing to get 2015 kicked off. Pace car makes that right-hand turn, and it's just about out of the way. Field going to be in the hands of the 81. Colton Berkey gets set to go on the accelerator. Green flag in the air, and we're racing from Watkins Glen. Question is, guys, can we survive turn 1? A lot of cars got to cycle through there.
Hey, it's really hairy going down here into turn 1. You're carrying quite a good bit of speed there. You want to get it slowed down because that's a very, very sharp turn going into turn 1. Then you go into the famous S's here with
there's a wreck.
With
there's
these tires.
A wreck car. The 8 machine of Martin Porter, I see, but it was all in front of Martin Porter. Right in front of him, there was this is a big one here. This was a very big one to start this event, and it started.
Facing the wrong direction. It even happened up in front of him. So this obviously happening down cycling through the corner there on the very start of the race. Everybody still cycling through this, but quite a few cars caught up in this one. Looks like it may have been started. I see Joel Wood around. Mark McFadden is facing the wrong direction. Hearing Dominic Dieball may have been right in the middle of this mix as well. But this happened right on the drop of the green flag here. Big incident going down into quarter number 1. The first half of the field made it through nice and clearly. Marcus Babb gets a little bit of damage in this exchange as well. Jason Halverson is going to be the one that goes around first in the number 21 car. Drives it in hard, gets into the back of the 95 at a checkup, and it was the spinning behind him, guys, that caused all those cars to go around. No caution, though, because it is a road course. We have the area cautions on the track, but no full course cautions unless the admins decide to manually throw one. They did not. Quite a large incident, actually. We stay green. Kevin McCarthy, guys, is now up to the top spot. Nathan Sedlak into second as Colton Berkey actually sliding backwards after starting on pole. He's in fourth.
We got another car right now.
Oh, Brian Borges was the 32 car. Just nailed the wall at a corner 7.
Brian Borges did a lot of damage there to the front end of his car. Looks like he just came into that turn. He got really loose trying to avoid.
Clearly there's damage on that. He's going backwards now. That is heavy left side damage on the 32 of Ryan Borges. Trying to get back going. He does so. Have to imagine he's going to be forced down pit road to get damage repairs because the left side of that car torn up. This racetrack, very unforgiving. It's either going to be those barriers or the tires very close to the side of the racing surface, and no contact. It wasn't like he was going for a crossover. Just got into that quarter 7 just a little bit hot and got those left side tires, plowed him into the tire barrier, and PD, just like that, one of the dominant cars all season long, possibly one of the favorites entering tonight, as he has had a top 10 car throughout the practice and qualifying sessions this evening, already with heavy damage.
So Ryan Borges, we predicted him to run well in this race. He certainly wants to get a good cusp on that championship lead. Certainly wants to take over the battle here. Oh, there's another wreck. These cars are wrecking all over the track right now. This one was Damon Gilbert wrecked. I also heard Patrick Scahill wrecked. And actually that one might have been the same one. Damon Gilbert got behind James Brown, checked up, and spun out. And that Patrick Scahill spun into him. So that was another 2-car wreck there, guys. And we're seeing a bunch of wrecks early here. I just want to make note real quick. We are on lap number 4 right now. I believe Kevin McCarthy is still out front. Kevin McCarthy is actually, yes, he is still your leader. So next time on lap number 8, we are going to be having a lap of silence in honor of Kevin McCarthy's father who passed away before Christmas. So please do not be confused when we do not speak for the whole lap number 8 there, folks. And Travis, I want to bring up the driver analyst here. Travis, why are we seeing so many cars getting so loose in this early portion of the race, spinning out here, Travis?
Well, with the little bit of practice I did for this race, as another driver spins in the back, the first couple laps were the worst couple laps. It seemed as the tires got heated up, the setup gained more grip and was a lot easier to drive. Just looks like a couple of these guys either lacked a little bit of practice or something, because they obviously were not expecting to go down in the corner with that lack of grip.
Looked like Everett Lane was having a bit of problem there. He got off track and did a little
Porter
bit.
as well. The 8 cars wrecked
cutting there.
Nicholas Doucette wrecked. Mike Murrow. Oh, there was just been wrecks all over this track.
So
that was actually Martin's second wreck
with
so
more
far.
trouble. We got somebody else slow. Mark McFadden with heavy damage. That machine is all torn up. That's the 48 car entry. It's hard to keep up with it. There's wrecks all over the racetrack. We have a side-by-side battle inside the top 10. It's for 6th position with Sal Accardi in the number 39 car and Dustin Loynes in the 40. They make a little bit of contact as they come into quarter 7. That's the final turn on this circuit. And now the 39 catches the outside tire barriers. That's Sal Accardi. Dominic Dieball, who is P27, a lap down, is going to go around him, not for position. But these first 5 laps, it's been hard to keep up with all that's going on.
Wow, I'm just at a loss here. I've been watching car after car after car coming off that turn there, just bouncing it off the wall, coming off turn 7 there, coming down that front stretch. And I'm just amazed that nobody has
there's
tore up
another
a car
wreck,
there.
Carl. Nicholas Doucette's around again. This time it's out of corner number 6, and he is around in the grass, so another wreck. These guys just can't hold on to these cars right now.
But meanwhile, back up here in the front, though, we are seeing Kevin McCarthy. He is taken off with this. Nathan Sedlak, however, has caught him up here quite a bit. He was about 3/4 of a second back. He's got it down to half second now. Michael Churchman's running in 3rd place. He's 3 seconds back. Colton Berkey, he went for the pole. He's dropped all the way back down to 4th position. He's 4 seconds back from the leaders right now. So Kevin McCarthy's just driving away with this. And, well, I can't say that because I'm looking now. Nathan Sedlak has dropped it down to about 0.2 of a second now, so Nathan Sedlak coming on strong.
Sedlak was able to fight quite well there, and again, we saw a lot of people up here at the front. Colton Berkey started on pole position. He slid back to what's going to be 4th right now on the racetrack. A lot of drivers off the lead lap, only 23 on the lead lap at this point with all of the wrecks that we've had so far. And as Kevin McCarthy rolls through corner 6, nearly gets into some lap traffic there. Nathan Sedlak going to cycle through as well. And as they exit through quarter number 7, we will go silent for lap number 8 in honor of Gordon McCarthy. Lap 9 now in the works. Kevin McCarthy still leads. Very fitting at this point in the race as he works on lap number 9 of this 66 lap affair for the Watkins Glen International. And it's been a wild opening portion of this race already, closing in and ticking off the time with these guys running lap times just at about 55 seconds plus per lap. This race not going to last much more than unless we see a full course caution, which after what we've seen and we've stayed green, don't expect that to happen tonight. A race that's only going to be about an hour in length. And this racetrack, again, the boot that they're walking right now, rather the form of the course. It's the classic without the boot. There's no IndyCar-like. It's essentially the Cup course minus the bus stop. So there's only 7 turns, and it's only 2.42 miles. So it is the classic course. So it is a lot smaller than if they were running the full Watkins Glen circuit. So because of all these cars that have had damage, lap traffic is going to be something that's going to be very interesting tonight. It's kind of been crazy. We'll try to let you know right now where everybody sits. Kevin McCarthy still leads this race, only 0.2 of a second over Nathan Sedlak. You see the 35 car putting a lot of pressure on him. Only about a car length and a half between the guys who sit top 2, and 35 making a big push. Sedlak up through the S's, trying to find a spot to make a move on that 44 of McCarthy. You got Michael Churchma back in 3rd position, Colton Berkey in 4th. 5th is Dylan Ackert. He's picked up 6 spots after starting 11th. Salicardi sits right where he started in 6 spots. 7th right now is Dustin Loynes. James Brown is in 8th position. 9th to William Roberts Jr. And George Bark, another driver who's picked up a few, started 16th. He sits 10th right now at the racetrack. Top 2 now spread out just a little bit, about 4 car lengths.
Yeah, we're looking at Dustin Lee back here. He's in the 11th position. He's been running pretty smooth here. He's got no damage to his car whatsoever. We're back here to the 12th position, who is Dan Bailey. His car also looks like it's got a little bit of damage, and he's running really good. I've been watching those two run here. They're a few seconds away from each other, but Bailey has been able to catch up on Dustin Lee by about a half a second over the last couple of laps. So we're going to look back here to the 13th position, Charlie Starks. Ryan Borges is right behind him with quite a bit of left side damage there on that right left side. Left damage on the right side. That ain't going to happen. Left side damage on the front spoiler. Then John Pansula, he's sitting here in the 15th position. Tim Johnstone, 16th. Mike Morrow's 17th. 18th position is going to be Jason Halverson. And we're going to have in the 19th position, Damian Gilbert and Brandon Cruz Monsivice rounds out the top 20, and they're both 1 lap down.
Want to note real quick, big trouble for Everett Lane, corner 6 and 7. He got into the grass, got turned around sideways, and because it's a blind corner, he had to sit there for 50. He's still trying to get back out on track, but can't pull in front of everybody. Huge amount of time lost for Everett Lane.
That was a big trouble there for Everett Lane. And back to going through the order, 21st to Patrick Scahill. Saw him in some wrecks. Actually, everyone I'm going to talk about from this point on has most likely been involved in a wreck. So Patrick Scahill. Oh, there's another wreck, but 21st is Patrick Scahill. 22nd is Dale Atkins. Number 23rd is James Wilkins. And 24th, Dominic Dieball. 25th, Joel Wood. 26th, Marcus Babb. 27th. Oh, another wreck in the S's. 27th. To
That's
Nicholas
Jason Halverson now.
28th to Mark McFadden, 29th to Everett F. Lane, and 30th to Mark Erder. And round out your field, number 8 of Martin Porter. We saw him in a few wrecks. And speaking of wrecks, there I think I see more smoking. Good gracious.
Halverson's around again.
Yeah, he's blocking about half of that back straightaway, and he is taking an escape back to pit road, so he'll have to take that toe and lose a lot of time. We saw about 3 more incidents, solo car incidents. Mark McFadden had that incident again. He's now back in 28th. He's already been involved in something because he's 2 laps down. All of a sudden, we haven't even had an opportunity to talk about any pit strategy, anything like that. Only 16 cars left on the lead lap. Half of this field has been involved in some sort of an incident.
Marcus Babb is upside down in, I think that's corner number 6. He has flipped his machine. He has got loose coming into the corner. Yeah, he overbroke. He's number 26 of Marcus Babb, got loose coming in the corner, pile drived it into the inside wall and flipped it up and over. So he's going to try to limp it back around to the pits, and oh my goodness, these cars are wrecking all over the track, and I see more smoke down. Oh gosh, Evan.
Hello 2015, how about that to kick off your racing season after these first, what's been 12 laps so far? Absolute chaos. We're still wrecking all over the racetrack. It's going to be who can survive, because I said about half the field's off the lead lap. They've been in an incident. Half the guys that are still on the lead lap have been in an incident to some point or another. The top 2 are still some of the closest cars on track. Kevin McCarthy, Nathan Sedlak have been able to be up and in front of it all. They sit within half a second of each other. Other than that, good luck. We're side by side for 13th, the 27 of Tim Johnstone, and the 17 of Mike Morrow. Give it to Mike Morrow, the sun drop entry. Going to move from 14th to 13th position, so the loser of that 2-car battle will cycle back to 14th, which is the last car on the lead lap right now. This is a crazy way to get this race kicked off, guys, and I know we were going to discuss many things about this racetrack. The fact that they're not using a bus stop, the fact that it's course, the Cup course. Regardless of that, it is the Classic course, the way it is entirely set up. You know, you would typically expect to have the boot area if you were doing an IndyCar. It's the Classic without the bus stop and all that, so it's fairly short at only 2.42 miles. They haven't even been able to really discuss some of the logistics of this racetrack because we've had people spinning in pretty much every corner.
Yeah, take a look here. The only other, besides the leaders, the only other close battle that I see right now is Colton Berkey, Michael Churchman. They're running in second, third, and they are well off the lead. The leader right now, they're sitting almost 6 seconds back now from the leader. But those two right now have been fighting fairly hard for the second and third position, or excuse me, the third and fourth position.
So right now, we are seeing a lot of cars going to lap down, like 13 cars in the lead lap. Before the race, me and Carl were talking, and he made a prediction. Carl predicted there would be 3 cars in the lead lap and no one within 15 seconds of each other. And so, this was insane here, though. All these wrecks early were sorry. It was very hard to keep up with here in this event with all the wrecks that were happening. So, very interesting roll that we saw here early with these wrecks. Did not really expect that. And it's just been insanity out here. And Travis, I'm going to bring you up again. What do you think these drivers need to do? Calm themselves down and stop wrecking here?
Honestly, it beats me. I didn't do a lot of practice this week, and I'm really surprised to see this late in a run, see these drivers still getting loose like that. So I don't know, honestly, I don't know what to tell you on that one. I'd say just back her down a little bit and wait for the last 10 laps.
All right, so that was our Intersport Travis Brown. Not Intersport driver analyst, actually. Brandon Montevice had a little bit of an incident there. He got a little bit loose. Nothing too big hung onto the car, Evan, and right now we're seeing insanity in every corner, and I don't think they're done yet, Evan.
Yeah, the leaders pretty much have this locked down. Now a second between them. We got smoke coming out of corner 7. Somebody else possibly around, and looks like they may have been able to evade the pit lane as it exits corner 7 there down the front straightaway, which is a downhill progressive into the 90-degree right-hander corner 1, which the first half of the field made it through. It was a checkup deep in the pack that kind of got all of this kicked off, and surprised that there wasn't a full course caution thrown, because I know that Cora officials typically reserve the right to do so if they feel like there's an incident that deserves a yellow and it's not automatically thrown. Now trouble for William Roberts. The 09 car slowed down the front straightaway. That incident in corner 6 and 7. He tries to get back up to speed and slows it down for quarter number 1. But after that 4-car incident, it's been a handful of 1 cars, 2 cars. I mean, at least a dozen incidents to some description so far. And it's not done yet because of the fact that there's so many people with damage. Only 12 drivers right now sit on the lead lap. Only 16 laps into tonight's 66-lap affair. So much calamity that there's going to be many guys out there with some damage to some description continuing to drive around. And it's a rather short circuit at 2.42 miles in length for this road course, the Classic course at the Watkins Glen International. So there's not a lot of room for our leaders to navigate around lap cars. Now, obviously, lap cars are going to do their best to yield, but if they have damage, steering damage, even if they try to get out of the way, there's sometimes you just can't avoid it, and our leaders really got to be careful, especially if you're a guy like a Kevin McCarthy and Nathan Sedlak. You know you got a lot of time left in this race. You really want to take your time getting through those guys, not pushing the issue, because it's very easy to get caught up in somebody else's mess, as we've seen so far in this race. But I mean, I'm with you guys. Did not, in 1,000 years, expect the beginning of this race to be so wild. It was. Now things have kind of settled down. We still have the majority of these cars on track, and actually 30 out of our 31 cars still on track. Martin Porter is the only driver right now that is currently sitting on pit road. So although there are all 30 out of 31 drivers still on track, guys, again, majority of them are laps down. They have been forced down there to get their fixes via the damage that they've gotten earlier. But now this race is a completely different attitude, now down to only 11 cars.
Oh, there's a big wreck I'm hearing. Dustin Lee got put in the wall. That would be the
hard in the tires.
Big wreck here. Oh, that's near where, oh God.
That's corner number 6 right there. He was battling with the 21 car. That's not even for position. And then Jason Halverson just turned dead right. Not sure if he was getting over to the side of the racetrack to be able to set up for the apex on corner 6, or if he was not happy with him. Going to be getting there, seeing if those guys had any, previous contact, because to me it looks like he just put them all the way to the fence. And that Dustin Lee machine obviously getting damaged, rode the guardrail, and went nose first into the tires, and heavy damage for him.
I'm thinking some of the reason we're seeing a lot of this mayhem back here in the back of the pack is because right after that, you know, all these guys were knowing, you know, if this caution doesn't come out, it is going to be really hard to catch up. You go a lap down, that's one thing these guys do not want to do. You go a lap down here, you're pretty much stuck that lap down for the rest of the race because there are no cautions unless, like you said, they throw a caution for some kind of an incident where the track is completely blocked. That would be the only reason they would throw a complete caution around the track. Otherwise, it's just going to be localized cautions. Wherever there's an incident on the racetrack, that's the only place that the caution will be. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these guys. They were fighting so hard to try not to go too far back and fall these laps down. And they were just overdriving and going to these turns.
I just want to go through and say there has been so many wrecks right now that there's wrecked cars in the top 10 right now. Salicardi hit the outside wall with his left side back there early in the race, still working that damage. Basically everyone from 5th on back has been involved in some sort of an accident so far in this event, so we're left with about 3 clean cars here. I do believe they'll have a reset, so they'll be able to get their cars fixed when they come back down pit road, but this has been a race of attrition so far, folks, and these guys are not taking very kindly to the racing surface tonight. As we watch Michael Churchman put another car a lap down, it's just been very, very exciting to say the least here. And I think it's been very fitting, too, to see Kevin McCarthy leading this race. I think he's led every single lap so far. I know he started the race second, and I'm pretty sure he took the lead right off the bat. So Kevin McCarthy is trying to make his late father proud here, leading all the laps so far in this event, although he has trouble right behind him, Evan, because here comes Nathan Sedlick. And as things start to calm down, these drivers are going to start to put down some hot laps.
Sedlak was tagging along about 1 to 2 tenths of a second off of the back of that number 44 machine McCarthy, who sits up at a top spot right now. And it was Sedlak who slid back a little bit, about lap 15 or so. That gap had grown to in the range of 8-7 tenths of a second. Now it's starting to close back in, as you said, 3 tenths the last time by. Still a long way to go, and this time by at the start-finish line as we worked out of back straightaway. Next time we cycle through, going to be 1/3 of the way through this race already. You see lap traffic getting out of the way. That's Martin Porter. He's found the fence a couple times. I know he lost the front clip of that car, so he's obviously pitted. He's now back out on track in 31st position. So it's hard to believe me when I tell you that all 31 cars, guys, still on track in this race. Only 10 of them now on the lead lap, and that number is dropping quickly.
Watching some really interesting stuff here. I don't want to focus too much on the lead here right now because I know there's other drivers out here, but I'm just watching something kind of interesting. The completely different lines that these two guys are running. Looks like Kevin McCarthy is taking more of a really close bite to the inside of these turns, where Nathan Sedlak likes to maybe push it out there a little bit more. Back to you one more time here, Travis. Is there any specific line that would be the best way to take these turns?
I mean, hug it tight to the bottom. When you're in lap traffic, the main thing you want to do, you probably don't want to dive bomb them into the corner. You probably want to wait till a straightaway because the draft on these Indy cars is really, really good, and you can suck right by them if you're faster. So if you're the leader, or really anybody, you're just want to hug the bottom in the turns. The carousel now, you want to arc it in a little bit. That's what we've seen a lot of the leaders doing, but really every other corner you just dive it into the bottom and hold it there.
Right now, the only place that I'm seeing where Nathan Sedlak's really catching Kevin right now is going into turn 1 and heading up towards them S's. Of course, Kevin just now got into some lap traffic there, which really caught Nathan Sedlak up there, but that's where I'm seeing Nathan actually able to catch him, is in turn 1, going down the front straightaway and then into the, going into the S's there. He catches quite a bit of, makes up quite a bit of time in those portions of the racetrack.
But right now, the racing is starting to calm itself down a little bit. These drivers are starting to, drive a little bit smart, driving to their abilities right now, I want to say. These drivers are not over-driving like they were before, spinning these cars and causing wrecks. And for the moment, I should say, knock on wood, they are keeping their cars on the racetrack. And that is always something you want to see here. As we will watch, looks like there's a car around right behind them. I'm going to try to get a number on that right behind the leaders there. It was a green car stopped on the bottom. That was Charles Starks, I believe. He got into a wreck not too long ago. Yeah, he spun, actually, almost spun right into victory lane, almost spun into pit lane was Charles Starks. So that was a tough break for drivers. A tough night so far. But right now, just these guys need to hang on, like you were saying. And hopefully, as this event goes on, we will see just a lot more respect given in the closing laps here.
Well, we've been keeping tabs on the screen there for the battle for third place, which is one of the closest on track. That and the battle for first, about equally as close. Michael Churchma currently holds on to the number 3 spot. It is Colton Berkey just behind Tim. That gap, half a second last time they cycled by the start-finish line. They work out a quarter number 5, that carousel area, in the 6 and 7 right now. Kevin McCarthy, Nathan Sedlak up in the front of the field, now exiting that final corner. Still 1 and 2 as they sit between the 44 and the 35 respectively. But Churchma and Berkey have been going at it for quite a good amount of laps here these last few times around. Other than that, everybody else on the lead lap rather well spread out with at least 3 to 4 seconds in between them for the closest of those battles. Still quite a few cars that are down on pit road. I do see a few of them in there for damage repairs, and pit road was wide open a few laps ago, so there's obviously been a couple guys that have had more incidents. There was a wreck coming up through the S's. Patrick Skyhill was caught by the 27 of Tim Johnstone, who was slow coming out of corner number 1. Believe he was just trying to get out of the way. One of those situations I talked about, came down and got into Patrick Skyhill. That was a huge wreck with Johnstone going up and over guys. That one in the S's, very easy to get caught up in incidents, and as we can see, they continue through now what's going to be considered the middle portion of this race.
Yeah, one driver looks like he is really happy where he's sitting right now is the number 00 there of James Brown, the CEO. He's running back in 8th position. He has moved up from the 14th position, so he's got to be happy with his. And I'm getting word here that Colton Berkey is running the car.
He's down pit road. We can see what happened.
The 4th place machine just lost it off of corner number 6, self-spun. That's the number 81. He has completely went around there out of corner number 6. So Colton Berkey lost it on his own. He's going to go from 4th deeper in the field now. So now we've seen almost everyone in the whole field have a problem. He was our pole star tonight. He's going to come down to give his car service after he spun there. We still see Kevin McCarthy leading this event, but the attrition will continue on here as this event goes on. Just insanity. Oh, another wreck. Big one in the bus stop. It could have been big. As in the carousel, the 15 of Dominic Dieball lost it. Almost clipped a car. That could have been huge if he would have clipped him, but luckily everyone made it by, so Dominic gets.
He got into Jason Halverson. Halverson got sent off track as well. That was about a 2-car incident as the 21, I think, more of an evasive action, went flying off to that runoff area, nearly put himself in the tires trying to get away, but the wildness continues from Watkins Glen still. Everybody crazy all over the racetrack and race control, talking to some of the drivers. A lot of these incidents, again, just happening very quickly. These cars are going pretty fast. Again, this is rather short of a road course. Kevin McCarthy, race leader, 180 plus miles an hour up into that corner right there, the carousel down that long back straightaway. Again, these are the older Indy cars, the circa 2011s, not the new DW12s. Cora still using this model of Indy car, so a little bit. I mean, the DW12's have been out for enough time that I think you can call a little bit of a throwback per se, and it is the Watkins Glen Classic course.
But from what I understand here, what I've been told, this will be probably the last season that you see the old style, the 2011 IndyCar used. They are talking next season of going with the DW12. So, yeah, this might be the last time we see these cars out on the racetrack with the Cora Championship Online Racing Association. And just heard Kevin McCarthy say something about he's going to be pitting here soon. So we're going to be seeing some pit stops here, I think, for these lead lap cars. They're going to be stopping and getting some tire and fuel, and we'll have to see.
They're going to be bringing down pit road here. IndyCar is probably the best brakes of all the cars in the game with the exception of the F1, so it's really easy to get these machines slowed down and ready for pit road. It's funny watching them break into the corner. They go from 180 to about 130 or 120 in the blink of an eye. It's so quick here. And we expect to see both the leaders, or at least one of them, bring it down this time. And actually, neither of them is going to bring it down. So, actually, no, Nathan Sedlak's bringing his car down pit road. So, second place, Sedlak will bring his car down pit road.
Churchma as well.
Churchma as well, and we expect them both 4 tire stops. IndyCar is a real quick stop. All they do is jack up the car. They have 4 guys to put on the tires, so it's real quick. It's about a 6 to 7 second stop to get an IndyCar fixed up here, Evan, as we watch the Nathan Sedlak machine bring it in.
It's Churchma in as well, so there's really no advantage or disadvantage like in a stock car of a 2-tire call. So pretty much expecting most of these guys to take 4 because it takes about much time to get fuel in that thing. Again, all 4 tires can be changed at once. There's only one big lug in the center of the tires on that. So now you see Nathan Sedlak exit pit road. This is obviously going to slide him and Michael Churchman back into running order a little bit. McCarthy still leaves just shy of what's going to be the halfway point. Again, tonight's
there's a
race
wreck right in front of Nathan Sedlak. Oh my goodness, Patrick Skahill lost his machine right in front of second place. That almost took him out. And it looks as though Skahill coming out pit road, he was coming up the S's. The number 60 that was fresh on new tires somehow swerved his car into the grass and then swerved it back onto the racing surface and went around. So Patrick Skahill almost
our leader's
got
on
to
pit
second
road
place there. So that was almost really bad there, Evan.
Yeah, very easily just got onto the curbing and very radically went around. And again, that was right in the middle of the racetrack. It was an evasive maneuver for the 35 of Sedlak to get around that. That's not the first time. That's about the second or third time that Patrick Skahill has had some sort of an issue, and he is actually manually disconnected from this race. Kevin McCarthy brought it down. He is now exiting pit road. Going to see where that stacks him up, and well in front of Nathan Sedlak because that 35 really had to take evasive action there, Carl. That's no longer, a 0.5 of a second gap. Kevin McCarthy exiting the S's, well, Sedlak just starts to head up through them, so the 44 car has been able to put some time on those guys that he entered pit road in front of. Salicardi now also exiting pit road. He'll cycle back to the top 10 spot that he was sitting in earlier as he was scored second the last time by. He stayed out and pitted on the same lap as the 44 McCarthy.
McCarthy getting it down onto the rumble strips there, getting the car sideways coming out of the S's, or excuse me, I guess, that was a carousel there he was coming out of, excuse me. And, he really got the car sideways there for a second. But got to wonder, though, Kevin McCarthy didn't pit when he said he was going to, and Nathan Sedlak did. Where that accident happened, if Kevin would have pitted at the same time, would he have been in that? Because that happened right in front of Nathan Sedlak. If he would have came out right in front of Nathan Sedlak out of the pit just like that, he would have been involved in that wreck.
So, that
Crystal ball time?
That would have been a very interesting scenario. And the official number is 6.5 being the number that McCarthy is ahead of Sedlak right now, so 6.5 seconds separates them right now. We're seeing McCarthy start to put some cars lap down. When this all cycles through, there should be about 7 cars in the lead lap. So right now, Travis, I'm going to bring you up again. So you're the leader. You have a almost 7 second lead over second, and there's only going to be about 7 cars in the lead lap, really only 4 within breathing distance. What's the approach you're taking right now?
Don't wreck it.
All right, well, thank you, Travis, for that input. That's what McCarthy needs to do right now. He does not need to wreck the car, Evan.
Yeah, it's very... contact with Nathan Sedlak now. Squeezing to the outside on the 21 car of Jason Halverson. And small contact for the right side of Nathan Sedlak's machine. Very minor damage. You see right front wing damage on the front of that machine after that contact. Tried to... And again, it wasn't that Halverson was... driving in the middle of the track, but it's sometimes you're just going to catch this lap traffic at such an inopportune time that you're going to just get caught up in that. And Sedlak having to dodge bullets left and right to just stay in second spot all by himself right now. 6 seconds to the good over Michael Churchman, who sits third. Kevin McCarthy still leading this race. Again, they talked about what do you do as a leader? Is the halfway point going to be this next time by? You can't wreck it. It's very easy to get yourself into trouble on this racetrack, as we've seen with nearly 50% of the field, if not more so far tonight. You can work 7, 8, 9 plus laps trying to just tick off tenths on that guy in front of you. It's a split-second decision. That little small mistake that you would make could cause you that old time plus more. So it's very easy to lose time. Not a lot, it's a lot harder to make up time on somebody. So you really have to run your own race. And with Cora, obviously this is one of the limited road course appearances that we're seeing. It's very different than the oval racing. In oval racing, you're really racing the other cars. Road course racing, you're racing the track a lot more. You just almost have to worry about yourself. Now, can't be really said for Nathan Sedlak after the last 5 laps. He's have to survive through, dodging again bullets and cars spinning out left and right in front of him. But it really is a lot more up to the driver in this as far as running your own line and staying consistent is something that's very difficult also. This racetrack, very unforgiving. There are portions on the track that do have small concrete runoffs, but for the most part, guys, there's grass right next to the asphalt there, or that outside retaining wall, the tires like we saw happen to Ryan Borges earlier, very close to the racetrack. There's not a lot of room for error. 66 laps, there's 7 turns a lap. One of those you make a small mistake, and it could end your race like we've seen a lot of guys have trouble so far tonight. So if you're Kevin McCarthy, although you're now 10 seconds to the good, nothing's guaranteed, and you got to pick it up.
You know, I'm going to bring up something here that never really thought of. Kevin McCarthy is the kind of driver who wants to take it right to the absolute limit when it comes to fuel. He will run this car till it's almost completely dry and he's just about out of fuel. He pitted before the halfway point. So, is he going to have to pit one more time? It just kind of dawned on me. It's like Kevin McCarthy does not pit early. He always waits until that thing is just about dry before he pulls it into pit road for fuel and tires. And he pitted about 2 laps before the halfway point. So we're looking at a possible 2-lap stop here, which could play in Nathan Sedlak's hands there if everything works out.
Oh, we are seeing him pull away. He's got another about 2 seconds to that lap on Nathan Sedlak. So McCarthy with a real fast machine here. Only 8 cars in the lead lap right now. James Brown in danger of going a lap down here momentarily as we watch Kevin McCarthy still putting guys a lap down, and he's setting a blistering pace right now that no one can really hang with at the road course. So these guys all trying to catch Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy going for his first win of the season. A very interesting point I just got whispered into my ear is that I think the damage on Nathan Sedlak's wing is actually what's causing it. Now, the Indy cars, me and Evan talked about it a ton last week, and we're hit on it again this week. If you so much as even bump someone in an Indy car, you're done. You've got a lot of damage. He has looks like a little bit of right front damage, but this is such a fast, high-speed road course. That means a lot aerodynamically.
We got somebody else slow.
Yeah, someone's slow. I think that's Everett Lane. Well, like I was saying there, so even a little bit of damage can slow you down significantly, and that might have been enough for Nathan Sedlak. And it's definitely put Kevin McCarthy in an instance where he can just cruise now and just doesn't have to wreck it, and he can basically hold on here.
A rough night for the fast lane guys, because Everett Lane, you just got a glimpse of it there. He actually went around once again in quarter number 6, did catch the tire barrier, so that is why he was slowed up on track. We're talking about Nathan
Brandon
Sedlak
Cruz must
again.
have hard at the end of the wall, almost upside down. Oh, man. And he is upside down.
Oh, he is.
Oh, God.
And this is right through this. He is in the middle of the racetrack. And is he going to escape out? He's going to try to get back going. He was upside down quite a few times there after he just got loose, caught the fence again. There's not a lot of room to get out of the way. There's a wall right there, and once the suspension gets damaged on these cars, they kind of bounce around erratically. He is still out on track trying to stay out of everybody's way, but with the suspension damage on that, I wouldn't be too confident trying to make a pass on him, and you see right there, slides up in front of James Watkins trying to get by. Monsivice got to find a way to stay out of everybody's way, because that 54 car, the way it's turned up, he can easily spin this out again. We've seen a couple times tonight somebody gets damaged, they get back going, and they spin it out a couple more times. They got to bring it down. He better not spin that thing if somebody's trying to get through him. He's staying way out of the way.
And in that wreck, the number 68, Damon Gilbert, got a bunch of damage. So Damon Gilbert's bringing down pit road. He was in about 10th when that all went down. So a big loser here is Damon Gilbert, as he's going to have to come down pit road. Oh, a big one I'm hearing from the radio. Does anyone see where it is? I'm hearing there's a big one, turn 1.
Trouble in turn 1. Trying to take a look. Looks like everybody there is back going, at least at the moment. Cycling back down through quarter number 1. Do have a couple of cars slow, but nobody is showing a lot of major damage. Possibly if somebody got into some contact, they could have escaped out and taken a tow back to pit road in this one. We got a bobble now.
It's
Dylan Ackert appearing up and over, more side-by-side down the back, but big trouble for the Dylan Ackert entry as he goes up and over again. Still no cautions as everybody, you got to find a way around this.
Oh my.
And this is one of our few cars that was a lead lap machine. He is sitting sideways right now. Now he has taken the tow to pit road, so no caution comes out, but he went spiraling in the air. This was coming out of the carousel. He got hit by the 21 of Jason Halverson. Halverson, the same car that hit Sedlak. Comes up, hits Dylan Ackert, guys, slides on his lid for about 400 yards, hits a tire barrier, bounces off to the part of the racetrack that's not even used.
Kevin McCarthy's bringing it back down pit road one more time. Like I said, he was going to have to pit again, and I guess he decided since he had such a big lead, he's going to go ahead and pit and fill this thing up one more time.
So Kevin McCarthy is going to come down pit road. Nathan Sedlak will cycle through to the lead. Now, we saw the 44 car make it about 30 laps, so we know we can make it to the end, being Kevin McCarthy. That being said, we do anticipate that Sedlak and others would need to make one more stop. Do we anticipate, guys, that they're going to maybe wait a little bit longer and we consider this stop for the 44 a little bit of a short pit, or do you think these guys are going to come down now as opposed to waiting and making it a late stop at the end?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was just a short pit on Kevin McCarthy's. He knew he had a big lead there. I think he just wanted to get in, get tires, get gas, not have to worry about it till the end of the race now. So Kevin McCarthy's good to go till the very end of this race. Not have to worry about pitting anymore with him.
We have another wreck. Joel Wood is off the course. That's the 79 machine. Looks like another car was involved in that. I'm trying to get the number on that one, but Joel Wood involved in another incident here. He went off in about corner number 6, and it collected
he got
one
the
of the driver.
27, PD. That's who you're thinking.
Tim Johnstone.
Yeah, he lost it, and there was nowhere to go for Joel Wood, and he hit him and kind of lost the steering on that, and he took a hard lick into the tires as well. That's another 2-car wreck.
So the wrecks continue here, and oh my goodness, and I want to bring up our driver analyst here. Travis, what do you think about this pit strategy? Do you like it? Is it something that you would try if you were in the race?
I'm pretty bad at pit strategy, so I don't know if I would try it, but I know Kevin's really good with pit strategy, especially on these road courses, so I have to think he has a plan, and it will more than likely work for him.
So that is definitely an interesting factor here, and whenever it all cycles through, we're going to have very few cars in the lead lap after all these wrecks we've been seeing, and Evan, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty here.
Yeah, starting to get down now with Insider. Actually, this next time by for Nathan Sedlak, only going to be just about 25 laps to go as he heads back up through the S's. The 35 is your leader. Kevin McCarthy has dominated this race so far on the short pit strategy. Has cycled back to 6. We got another car now in the fence. Marcus Babb, this again. Corner number 6 and 7. 6 has been Calamity Corner. Got a little bit on the Kirby, left side tires, got loose, spin it around, gets back going, but yet again another car around just in front of our leaders, and this one's going to be coming down to the end here quite soon. Nathan Sedlak still leads up at the front of this field again. It has been the Kevin McCarthy show. He has led the majority of the laps. It is a short pit strategy. We still await for the top 5 cars to come down pit road to see who will battle and who may get the best opportunity to get the checkered flag in tonight's Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160. Want to take a quick moment to step away. We got a couple more cars off pace. Take a very quick commercial break and update you on whatever wrecks happen under the yellow, because it's been a crazy one so far. You're watching Cora on LSRTV from Watkins Glen. A lot more exciting racing coming up. Stay tuned. Back live from Watkins Glen International after a wild opening middle portion, and who knows, maybe the end's going to be just as crazy. You're watching Cora Sunday Muddy Series on LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, Carl Jones, Petey Zeller, and Travis Brown up in broadcast booth for what has been a crazy way to kick off the 2015 racing season. Glad to have you with us on LSRTV, but this one has been wild from the drop of the green flag in tonight's Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160. It has been Kevin McCarthy leading the majority of the race, still sits 5th position on some pit stop strategy that has Nathan Sedlak, Colton Berkey, Michael Churchmas, Sal Accardi, top 4 now in front of him. They're going to have to come down at some point in this race in these final few laps to be able to come down, make that final set of stops, get back out on track. Now again, pit stops taking, maybe about 30 seconds to hit pit road, get your service, get off. Well, Kevin McCarthy, 33 seconds back from Nathan Sedlak. It'll be close. And again, we saw in that first cycle, Kevin McCarthy went from about a 1/10 of a second lead to a couple of seconds via Nathan Sedlak having some trouble. The 35 is working with damage. So right now, you got to think if this all cycles through the way it should, Kevin McCarthy, the favorite to win this as he moves up to 5th.
Taking a look, this might not sound very significant right now, but Martin Porter has moved up. He was last place, still running on this racetrack, though. He has moved up one position, about to take another position from 2 drivers who have dropped out. Joel Wood has just left the race. Martin Porter, one of the guys up there for the points this season, had some early trouble here in this race. Has dropped him 19 laps down in this race, but he is persevering. He's staying out on the racetrack, trying to get as many positions as possible for points. He looks like he's going to be able to move up at least 1 to 2 more positions yet, which is going to be big, could be big when it comes to the end of this racing season.
He's the little engine that could right now. Martin Porter still turning laps, trying to get some extra points out of this. So we're still waiting for the top 4 to bring their machines down pit road. Really interested to see if this pit strategy works out for Kevin McCarthy as we continue to race around this very high-speed road course. 48 of the 66 laps are completed here, and I think one of the leaders just brought their cars down pit road. No, that was just Charles Stark. Sorry about that one. We expect to see them bring it in any lap now. I mean, they could bring it. They could run it down until they're almost dry here, but that would be very, very risky. So I do not anticipate seeing anyone trying that at least out of the top 4 currently, as even Kevin McCarthy, as big a lead as he had, he still came out of pit road 5th, so he really didn't have too much to lose. I really like that strategy call on their side here, and I hear that the drivers are really calmed down. Oh, there's a wreck. It's Martin Porter. Sedlak's in it. Nathan Sedlak, that's the leader. Nathan Sedlak's destroyed. His car has no more nose. Okay, so what happened here was he was coming down the track, and there was multiple cars wrecking from him. Martin Porter and Marcus Babb were the majority of them. Babb just was sitting there in the middle of the track, and he got completely destroyed by Nathan Sedlak. So the leader has a significant amount of damage. He's going to have to bring it down pit road, and that changes everything here, folks.
That may just essentially give this race to Kevin McCarthy. Dylan Acker also went off into a sand trap during that exchange there. He was an isolated incident to that major one, but he also had some trouble. So a lot of guys struggling to just live through, and when it rains, it pours. If you're in that Nathan Sedlak camp, because he's now being forced to bring it down pit road as he has lost the front end of that machine.
The new leader,
Colton Berkey.
It was a yellow car. I don't know who it was.
Quarter number 7. That's the final turn. We got a lot of smoke exiting that turn. 2 cars out in the wall. You got Mike Morrow. He's hard in the fence. He got in with the aid of Martin Porter. So Martin Porter had a self-spin. He got out in the grass again. You got to go left to go right here so that you can set yourself up for the apex on that final corner. 8 Machine swings wide, just gets the left side tires in the grass. Very unforgiving, and trying to avoid that was Mike Morrow. He went to the left side, chose the wrong, and he ended up in the tire barrier as well. So another 2-car incident.
Wow. Well, we're going to do a quick rundown here of the top 10 anyway, so we know we have an idea where people are running. We got Colton Berkey right now. He's running in first, 5 seconds back from his Michael Churchman. Then we have Sal Accardi running in the 3rd position. Kevin McCarthy, he is actually starting to close in on Colton Berkey. He has went from about 29 seconds back from Colton to he's down to 23 seconds back. So he's running right now in the 4th position. We have Dustin Loyne sitting here in 5th. Nathan Sedlak is now up to 6th position. James Brown, he's moved himself up into the 7th position after starting 14th. And in the 8th position, we're going to have Dan Bailey. Wasn't he originally running in the back of the pack here earlier on? Ryan Borges, he's now sitting here in 9th, and George Barks in 10th. And those last 2 cars are a lap down.
You want to make note, Ryan Borges, again, was a top runner and kind of just got himself into the tires at a corner 7 on the very start of the race, just drove it in there. Left side tires got quite hard into the tire barrier, lost a lot of time, came down and pitted. He is running lap times that are top 5 times. However, again, because he was forced down to get those damage repairs and get a quick fix on that, is why he finds himself a lap down. So he has passed quite a few cars to be able to get to that spot, which puts him as the first car 1 lap down. However, there are no wave rounds in this the Indy cars. So
Colton Berkey's bringing his machine down pit road here. It's the 81 machine. His final stop of the race, that'll give the lead to Michael Churchman. Churchman making a return to the league. Missed last week, his first race. He's missed in forever for Cora. So Churchman back here, and he's leading right now as we watch Colton Berkey bring it down pit road. Expect a fairly easy pit stop. He was our pole setter. First pit stop, we're going to see 4 tires go on this machine. They jack that car up really quick, and they fill it up with fuel and should be down the way, and there you go. So Colton Berkey gone and away. This will relinquish the lead to Michael Churchman. Second, Sal Accardi, and third will be Kevin McCarthy.
we got somebody else around.
Oh, there's another wreck, I think.
Oh, hard. Dustin Loines is in the wall. James Wilkins is the car that I saw around. Wilkins in the number 3 machine had a self-spin going down in a corner number 1. He wrecked, and then right behind him, a isolated incident again featuring the somebody just plowed the tires
Wilkins
back
is still
there.
wrecking.
Oh, my.
And then, we had more people around, down up through the S's, a couple of wrecks in that exchange, and it continues. I don't know what else to say. We're bouncing off walls. These things don't have fenders like stock cars. That does not work. The exposed suspension on these things with the open wheel cars can cause that, even in a situation like we saw Sedlak, although the only visual damage we saw was right front wing damage, that could have messed that right front suspension up very easy, and that can really cost your car a lot of speed getting through the corners if it's rather a right-hander or a left-hander, depending on what side of the car has damage. Churchman leads this race. The guy that everybody's looking at is Kevin McCarthy. He has already completed the final stop that he needs to. He sits 3rd right now, waiting on the 88 car to cycle through in the 39, and this could be Kevin McCarthy's race.
Yeah, once the top 2 make these pit stops, Kevin McCarthy will take over the lead. He's going to have probably about a 5 to 6 second lead over what then will be second place of Colton Berkey. That's in the future. Another wreck right in front of the leaders. Cars all over the place. They had to scatter to get around that car spinning. I don't know who that was spinning, but I've seen all the leaders had to the 21 car, I'm understanding it was one more time getting that car around.
So wow, just another wreck there for the 21 machine. That is the machine of Jason Halverson in 26. So he's had a rough night, to say the least. I'm sure he'll be excited to get out of this IndyCar stint here, as our leader is still Michael Churchman. I really anticipate he'll this time by, if not this time, next time. He has to be getting really close to his fuel run here, and here we come through the final 2 corners of the track. We'll see what Churchman decides to do here. He has lap traffic. He's going to dive to the inside, and Churchman's going to stay out, and we'll see if Sal Accardi's going to bring it in, and Accardi is going to stay out also. So the leaders still are not bringing their cars down pit road yet, as Kevin McCarthy's 15 seconds behind them. I don't believe they can make it to the end. I really don't think there's any logical way they could, but they have to be trying to do something here, because if not, this is Kevin McCarthy's race to lose right now.
Michael Churchman had pitted on lap 30, so if he was stretching it, he's only going to be able to make it 4 more laps. So obviously you would anticipate he has to come back down. One thing that you could argue is that the longer they stay out, the less amount of fuel that you got to put in it. But if you're wanting tires, and now with McCarthy only being 15 seconds behind as opposed to the 30 when we saw other guys up front, the Sedlaks, before they had trouble, then that might have been, a more realistic thing that you could think of. But because of the fact that so many guys that have cycled through to the league, against Sedlak in specific, the 35 cars had trouble, and now that gap is only 15 seconds. You can't come down pit road at pit road speed in 15 seconds, get X amount of fuel and get going. I don't imagine. It is quite a lengthy pit road there down that front straightaway. So you have to say again, as long as nothing happens to that 44 car, And again, assuming, and we do expect that Churchman and Carty should have to pit here because they both came in on lap 30 on that first cycle, which would put them 6 laps short if they were to use the same distance fuel-wise, then this would be the 44's race to win, and fitting that Kevin McCarthy would do so.
Yeah, just waiting here. I'm anticipating probably within the next 3 laps, we're going to be seeing our leader, Kevin McCarthy, followed closely probably by Salacardi pitting, like we said, because there is just absolutely no way that they're going to be able to do anything about it here. Kevin McCarthy is just going to have to be something awful happen to him in order for him to lose this race at this point in time. Because like you said, it takes way too long to get down pit road, and then coming off pit road, you got to stay slow up until you pass that line. Then even when you're coming out on the racetrack, you got to be careful, because if you come up across that merge line too fast, you'll end up getting a black flag too. So a lot of things come into play when it comes to pitting at this track. It's not just on pit road getting your stop done. You have to really be conscious of what's going on out there, because just so many different things that can go wrong coming off of pit road. And then when you're trying to come up to speed, these tires are so slick on the first lap going into those S's, you really got to feather that gas pedal. So 13 seconds, that's nothing for somebody to be behind somebody when you know somebody's got a pit.
During that period, I saw a car go around, not catch the number. I believe it was one of the guys who were multiple laps down, so it was not very important. But the cars are still spinning around here right now. Luckily, no one got into that vehicle. I cannot just quite get a number on that vehicle. And here he comes. Michael Churchman's bringing his machine down pit road. Churchma is coming down pit road, and Accardi will follow. So this will relinquish the lead to Kevin McCarthy if they can get a quick enough pit stop.
Accardi's in as well.
And, yeah, I know. Accardi is in as well here. Michael Churchma is going to hopefully, I think, take 4 tires here. Although, he could be working a strategy, although I don't see anyone working, because with McCarthy only 13 seconds behind him now. McCarthy passed
McCarthy has already taken the lead. Yeah, he's
McCarthy's
already taken
gone.
the lead. He's gone down past the pit road already.
So that will relinquish the lead to McCarthy there, as Churchma's quick gas and go there along with McCarthy. And Dominic Dieball's around in the last turn, so we still have cars spinning out the 15 machine, but Kevin McCarthy's taking the lead of this event, and I don't see him relinquishing it anytime soon, Evan.
Going to be closing up on the final few laps now, within 10 to go, and a race that we talked about, if there were some major incidents, may see a full course caution. Well, we haven't, we've seen some major incidents, we haven't seen any yellows. More trouble now, Michael Churchma, we're hearing up through the S's, and another car, a lot of smoke up through that section. The S's as well as corners 6 and 7 have really been calamity corners so far. Looks like James Brown's going to have to come in. He would moved up to P5 after starting in 14th, so the 00, expecting him to come down pit road, but again, guys, just calamity all over, and it seems like there's somebody off track every lap, so, as opposed to saying who's wrecking, let's say who's not, and the guy that can't is that 44 of Kevin McCarthy. Just keep it on the track. He's 7 seconds to the good over Colton Berkey. He just needs to keep that thing on track. He's still the fastest car out there right now, lap time-wise. The 44 just needs to run his own race and hope that nothing happens in front of him that he can't get around.
James Brown dropping out of 6th position here to come down pit road now. He was a 6th place car. Let's see what he's going to do here. I'm sure this is just going to be a gas, tires, and go.
A quick stop, I believe, for James Brown. We'll see here. Yep, just a quick stop for James Brown. During this period, we saw Jason Halverson and Michael Churchma wreck. I know we touched on Churchma. So 2 guys have just wrecked again. And this actually might play in a James Brown hand. He might get steal top 5 out of this. So the car that just passed him would be Kevin McCarthy, the leader. So James Brown, I do believe, is going to cycle somewhere around the 6th to 5th position. Do not quite know. And Ryan Borges up there might steal top 5 tonight. What a comeback for him. But right now, Kevin McCarthy is winning the memorial race for his father. And it's very fitting right now to watch him fly around the speedway. And Kevin McCarthy has just dominated this event. He had early struggle trying to keep Nathan Sedlak, who's rebounded to 4th after a wreck. Sedlak has gotten to the arc early, as I'm sure you remember, but it's just, he struggled early holding him off, and now he's pulling away here late stages of the event. Kevin McCarthy seems to be in total control of this race, as he's just kind of about 5 laps to go this time by, Evan.
This time by lap 62, going to be picked up at the start-finish line as we close in now with 5 laps to go, but only 5 drivers remain on the lead lap. Ryan Borges again after early troubles pitted, went all the way back to nearly 20th position at the time. He's able to sneak back up into the top 5 and actually find himself back on the lead lap at the moment. James Brown has come down pit road. He cycles back to 6th place, 1 lap down. Borges, I'm not sure if he has not come down for his second time yet on pit road. However, pitting with damage, I think that because of that offset, he may be good on fuel, which would attribute to being able to jump up and get to that P5, because again, he had already pitted, and that possibly made up the differential in those laps that he would have been short on fuel-wise when he was forced to come in for damage repair. The gap between the top 2 only extending now to 7.7 seconds between Kevin McCarthy and Colton Berkey for the top 2. Rounding out our lead lap cars in the top 5, we've got Sal Liccardi, Nathan Sedlak, and Ryan Borges. A lot of those guys, especially Nathan Sedlak, have had to go through a lot to survive this one. They dodged a couple of them. They got caught up in a few of them as well. And it's nice to see that 35 really fighting to stay upsided. He's still in 4th position after everything he had to go through in that middle portion of the race. Good drive for Sedlak. Not a win like he was hoping for, but all things considered, after being caught up in a whole bunch of messes from other people's ends of things, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to walk away with the top 5 here as he hangs on the 4th.
Yeah, Ryan Borges better look in his rearview mirror here. If he wants to stay on the lead lap, he better start doing something about it. He's 52 seconds right now behind the leader, which is only a couple seconds in front of the leader. So Kevin McCarthy ready to put our 5th position car 1 lap down. So I was close. We were going to have 4 to 5 cars on the lead lap. I said 3, so I was only off by 2 or 3. Or 1 or 2, excuse me.
Well, right now, though, McCarthy's still dominating this event this time by. He is going to see, he saw 3 to go this time by. Next time by will be 2, so McCarthy in the late stage of this race has not yet let up his paces. I think I saw another car spin around there. I believe it was a Halverson machine. Just a tough night for that. Tough night for that camp here, as Kevin McCarthy still is leading this event. A lot of guys struggled here tonight. This was a very, very crucial event, and a lot of guys spun out a lot. And that's really going to hurt them the championship points. I want to go through a few significant names that are back there right now. And Martin Porter is going to finish 28th tonight. He can't pick up any positions. Dominic Dyball and Nicholas Doucette right now are 15th and 16th. They're both up there in points. Dustin Lee's in 21st. Michael Churchma's in 13th. And just the struggle was big tonight. But right now, as Kevin McCarthy has a 10-second lead, if he doesn't mess up, he's going to get his first win in this 2014-15 campaign, Evan.
Martin Porter has taken his machine behind the wall. Joel Wood as well is out of this race. Looks like in a range of about 26 or so cars still in this. A handful of guys are obviously the majority of the field rather off the lead lap and have worked through some sort of attrition to at least stay on track after getting their damage repairs. We do have quite a few guys, about a handful of them, are actually behind the wall, and their nights have come to a premature close. But it is now 10 seconds as we close in to the white flag this next time by for Kevin McCarthy, and he'll have 2.42 miles at that point to secure the checkered flag. Nobody around him for position, just needs to go one more time.
So Kevin McCarthy is going around the speedway. He's trying to hang on to this win. All he has to do is cruise now. 1 car behind him, and he has no one near in front of him. So Kevin McCarthy is going to fly down up through the S's, and he's going to try to fly back down the final straightaway here. He's not going to get to Ryan Borges, so 5 cars are going to finish on the lead lap here. As Kevin McCarthy, what a show he's put on for his father here tonight. And if he can just survive the carousel in the final 2 corners, Evan, it's all his.
Last few turns right here, has some lap traffic behind him, will not play a factor, and in a race where he started second, entered one of the favorites, and everybody knew that he's strong in this Indy car, and on a night where they honored his father, who he lost just before Christmas in this past holiday season, that emotional victory out of the final corner and coming towards a checkered flag, give it to the driver of the number 44 and the Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160 to none other than Kevin McCarthy.
Wow, what a great way to honor his father here. Kevin McCarthy got it done, and you can't write things like that, so Kevin McCarthy got it done for his father here, and we'll talk to him, the top 3, when we come back from this break. Stay tuned for interviews.
Back live at Watkins Glen International on LSRTV, you're watching the Cora Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series, Season 5 tonight, Round 10, and our little bit of a preview here with the IndyCar's final IndyCar race on the regular season. One more still to come in the chase for the championship later on in this season, but the one time that we're going to see him out here at the Watkins Glen International Road Course was a wild one. A lot of wrecks, a lot of carnage, a lot of fruition that a lot of drivers had to fight through, and it's Kevin McCarthy who takes home the checkered flag. We're going to talk to him, as well as our second place finisher, Colton Berkey, in a moment. But right now, I'm down and I'm caught up on pit road with the driver of the number 39 car, coming home in third tonight, and was the fastest car in practice, is Sal Accardi. Sal, what was that? We were trying to keep up with all the wrecking that was going on up here. It must have been wild behind the wheel. You started 6th position. You were in front of a little bit of the chaos, but it must have been hard to avoid all of it. How were you able to fight through what was a crazy 66-lap affair to get yourself this podium?
Yeah, that was rough. Lap cars, did play a part. A lot of guys gave us courtesy. A couple times I missed my line, and it worked out for me because that's where the wrecks were. So, missing my line, I ended up missing the wreck. So, that was a rough race, man. I got a bunch of stuff.
You're able to survive it, Sal, and you walk away with the points, which is always a good thing. Obviously, everybody trying to get as many points as possible, qualify for an eligibility in the championship. Coming back after a little bit of an off break and rolling into a road course. Final race with the Indy cars in this stint. We'll see him again in a chase. We hit the Gen 6 cars. Followed Daytona. We got Vegas and Indy coming up in these Gen 6 cars. How confident are you rolling into this next 3-race stint with a new vehicle?
I'll tell you, we've been struggling on the circle tracks, and who would have known I'd come out of here with a podium in a road course, but, it was a good run. We needed the points. I got to thank my teammates, Woodbench Racing, Joel Wood, Dominic Dybell, Woolpack Racing, Tim D. Johnson, Charlie Starks, Colton Berkey. These guys helped me a lot, in my circle track program, helping me with setups.
It's a good night for you, considering we saw a lot of people in the championship have a rough one. And with all the carnage, that 39 car doesn't look too bad sitting there parked on the front straightaway. It's a podium for you, Sal. I know you thanked some of them. Any other shout-outs you want to thank for this, obviously, this great run for you and the guys tonight?
Yeah, I want to say a good win for Kevin McCarthy and Cora. You guys are doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
All right, well, thanks for taking a moment to talk to us, Sal, and good luck rolling forward. Still a lot of racing to go this season.
Thanks, bro.
That is the driver of the number 39, Sal Accardi, comes home again after starting in 6th position. Going to be a podium as he sits in 3rd. Now down on pit road with our second place finisher. That is the driver of the number 81 car, Colton Berkey. PD, you're down with him.
I've caught up with our pole setter and second place finisher tonight, Colton Berkey. Colton, what a run you had tonight. You got into a little bit of an incident there early in the event, but you managed to keep your machine going. You actually spun your car right around, and you decided to bring it down the pit road immediately after. And Colton, you came back to finish second, and really the only track that wasn't involved in an incident tonight was the winner of Kevin McCarthy. And Colton, just take us through your night and how you got to second place.
Well, as you mentioned, I had some trouble there early on. My biggest problem on road courses is just being consistent. So I figured I'd just wait, for the fuel strategy to come into play, and yeah.
So Colton, do you think if you wouldn't have spun out there and maybe kept up with the pace with McCarthy and all them, do you think you had something for McCarthy come late in the event?
No, I don't think I had anything for Kevin. He has a lot more practice and time in his cars than I do, so I don't know.
Well, tonight was a good night for you, and finishing second, this will help your points effort. Do you think moving forward in the points, this race will be a race you look back on that maybe helps you to get up there and challenge for the championship?
I'm definitely hoping it will. I've had quite the season this year, so I'm hoping it'll turn around and maybe come for a points champion, maybe.
All right, and before I let you go catch up with your crew, Colton, who do you got to thank? Who makes it happen for you in the number 81 crew?
Well, I got to thank the Woodbench Motorsports and Wolfpack. Without those guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. And glad I could finally bring them a podium. And I got to thank all the guys at Cora for putting on a great show. And thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
All right, well, that was our second place in pole sitter tonight, Colton Berkey. And meanwhile, Evan Pasoko is caught up in a very emotional victory lane with Kevin McCarthy. Evan, you got the winner?
Well, there's not much more that can be said in a situation like this. At a night that we honored the life of his father, the Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160 goes to none other than the driver of the number 44 in dominating fashion. Your winner tonight and down in victory lane with Kevin McCarthy. Kevin, congratulations. What are you feeling right now after that one?
I'm feeling pretty drenched right now. Just gulping down a glass of water here. Just unbelievable out on the track with all the stuff that was going around out there. Is I don't know, just pure luck sometimes that I made through what was going on.
It was a wild race for sure. It seems like at least most of the cars out there caught up in an incident or two, and almost a survival of the fittest styled race that you had to get through. You didn't start on pole position, but you didn't waste much time getting to the top spot. You got out in front and you set off, and you never looked back. The short pit strategy worked out well for you as well on that second stop.
Yeah, at 10-4, I was kind of hoping that everybody was going to be doing the 2 long runs, and then I could essentially do a short stop in the middle. And I took tires every time I stopped, because I know that near the end of a run that you can gain so much more time on fresh tires. It's just really sketchy getting up out of pit road and through the S's on cold tires. You can't really hammer it. And I did a lot of practicing throughout the last couple of weeks, just working on pit road exit and entry and trying to gain some time there. The last pit stop, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, my crew chief decided to give me an extra set of tires, put me up twice for a set of tires, so that kind of, I don't know where I would come out at on that. So
We were able to hang on to it, and again, in dominating fashion. There were small blips in a race where somebody else may have taken a peek, or we may have thought he may have a shot at it, but in the end, the strategy works out well, and 10 seconds to the good, no doubt about it. The 44 car, class of the field tonight, you get the job done, and on a night starting off the 2015 racing season, coming off of the holiday season, a night where we honored the life of your father. I mean, what does this mean to you for you to be able to take home this win?
Well, I'll tell you what, the old man was a pretty special guy, and we kind of had a lot of good times together. As far as all he did was work, so the only way that I could be with him was to go out and on his job and work with him, kind of thing. So I learned a lot about work ethics at a very young age, and that was the only time I ever really got to see him when I was younger, was to actually be out on the job site with him. He did paving throughout Northern Ontario, built a lot of the roads there, so he was a very integral part of the infrastructure in Northern Ontario, and he's dearly missed by all our family. And I appreciate the condolences from everyone, and the fact that everybody, stayed quiet on the 44th lap there to remember him, and I appreciate it. Thanks, and I want to give thanks to Cora and the officiators in the tower tonight. Real tough job out there. Just a big hands off to all the guys that do make this come together, and the fact that I can race these, I appreciate it.
And again, we want to express our condolences to you as well, and through the holiday season, and now you got 2015 to look forward to. We've had your father up on screen for the majority of the race, and I don't think there's any more fitting way that any of us could have, chosen an outcome out of this one for you to be able to take home the win. So congratulations, Kevin. And before we let you go, anybody else you want to thank for making this possible, your trip to victory lane?
Yeah, just a big thanks to Gordon, Berkey, Vice President, James Brown, Terry Hurley, Colin Foreman, everybody that helps us out in here, Carl Jones. If I'm missing anybody, sorry, but you all, and the guys that I raced against tonight, every one of you that were on the track that gave me the room when you could, and made this an enjoyable race, and just take my mind off things. Race was fantastic as far as I'm concerned, and taking home the win. This is my third win in Cora, one in the Indy, one at Glen last year, and then bringing home the win again this year. So third win in Cora, it's a pretty big thing for me.
Well, we entered tonight's race, and a lot of the drivers were picking you as a favorite, and you left them with no questions. Dominating performance, Kevin. Congratulations, and we'll see you coming up next week.
Cheers. Thanks again to all the broadcast crew, and have yourselves a good evening. Appreciate your work and efforts.
That is tonight's winner, driver of the number 44 and winner of the Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160. Kevin McCarthy takes it all home, guys. We talked to Colton Berkey. We talked to Sal Accardi, the top 3 finishers. Only 5 of them finished on the lead lap. Nathan Sedlak and Borges joined those 3 to survive, for the most part, in this race. And it was crazy from the drop of the green flag that essentially got kicked off with a 4-car pileup on the front straightaway. We saw guys bouncing off each other, bouncing into the fence, up and over, flipping in the air, and a wild night comes down to a very fitting end with Kevin in victory lane.
Yep.
Yeah, exciting. It was. I mean, there was not a boring moment out there. I mean, I don't think there was a time when we could stop. Great race tonight. Congratulations, Kevin McCarthy, on your win there. And didn't get a chance to talk to him tonight, but I'm going to go down here right now and I'm going to party with him here in the garage area for a little bit. And you guys have yourselves a great night.
Yeah, I think we had a good event tonight. Yeah, with the exception of the few guys that had a lot of trouble keeping their cars facing straight, everyone did a great job driving. And at the end of the night, Kevin McCarthy drove a perfect race, and in the end, it worked out for him. He brought home the win, and it was just a fun race to watch.
I want to talk again to our driver analyst, Travis. I guess we were just kind of asking you wreck avoidance techniques for the most of this, but this was a wild race. Out there on track for quite a few of these Sunday Muddy races here. What were your thoughts on a very interesting night out at the Glen?
That was probably one of the wildest horror races I've seen in a while, definitely, if not ever. I mean, it seemed like everywhere you looked, somebody was either side by side with somebody or wrecking. So you had the whole 9 yards tonight with good racing and a lot of wrecking at the same time.
Well, I know we were keeping Laura busy on the cameras trying to find out who was wrecking. We should have just said who wasn't, because that would have saved us a lot of time, because it was truly a crazy race. And as this one comes to a close, and we got a lot more coming up, because 2015 just getting kicked off, and we look forward to a lot of great racing for this next year, and a lot more still to come on Cora. We're down double digits in the race. Next race going to be coming up on January the 11th for race 11 on the Season 5 campaign from the Daytona International Speedway with the Gen 6 cars. That one going to be an open set in 1 week time to get our first look at the Gen 6s kicked off in that first stint on this campaign. So a lot more to come. I want to thank everybody that made this possible. Again, everybody in the booth who joined me, and we had quite a group tonight. Again, myself, Evan Pasoko, Carl Jones, PDJ Zeller, Travis Brown, and again, Laura Lawson, everybody at Cora and their sponsors who make this possible: Hurley Property Management, Small Town Computers, iRacing.com, TeamSpeak, and Bart Competition Karting. For more information, check Cora out, Cora-Racing.com. Check them out on that website as well. That is the same on Facebook. And that's it for the Watkins Glen International, a night where we honored the life of Gordon McCarthy and the Gordon McCarthy Memorial 160. It is his son, Kevin McCarthy, who takes home the win and gets another winner sticker on that number 44 car. He's looking forward to the rest of the season, and we are as well. We'll see you in 1 week's time. Good night from Watkins Glen, and we'll see you from Daytona.